Thank you, children. Have a seat. Good morning, everyone. It's with tremendous pleasure that I welcome you to the International Children's Book Day celebration, which is observed on Hans Andersen's birthday, celebrated on April 2nd. Hans Andersen was a Danish author known for his travelogues, plays, novels, and poems, but he is best remembered for his literary fairy tales. 4th April 2022 will be etched in the annals of Kohinoor International School because of a renowned personality who has graced the International Children's Book Day celebration at KIS. He is none other than Mr. Hussain Zaidi. Children, many of you must have heard of him or may have also read his books. But Sir does not need an introduction. But there are sides of him which many of us are not aware of. He's a multivariate, multidimensional, versatile, and one-of-a-kind writer, publisher, producer, scriptwriter, and a mentor to new talent. Before Sir took the path less trodden of a crime fiction writer, he was an investigative journalist for 20 years. He started his career with the Asian Age and Indian Express before moving on to Midday and Mumbai Mirror as editor. He also worked as a senior editor with Express, was a resident editor in the Asian Age before bidding adieu to journalism in 2016 after his swan-song stint as a city editor in Mirror. His inquisitive mind and the quality of delving and unearthing facts gave an impetus to him becoming a crime fiction writer. He has given a new dimension to his characters, wherein he has portrayed lesser-known facts of his characters who are and were men and women of our society whose actions are questionable. It takes a man of grit to unearth the deadly and sinister and showcase it to a world at large. His maiden book, Black Friday, published by Penguin, was made into a critically acclaimed film by director Anurag Kashyap. His documentation of the Mumbai mafias in books like Dongri to Dubai, Mafia Queens of Mumbai, My Name is Abu Salim, and Baikala to Bangkok is considered one of the finest literary pieces. His mastery over terrorism-related research is reflected in Black Friday, David Headley and I, and Mumbai Avengers. Mumbai Avengers was Sir's first fiction that he experimented with, which was adapted into the Hindi film Phantom. Sir's imprint Penguin Blue Salt is one of the most successful in the country, having stalwart authors like filmmaker Neeraj Pandey, actor Imran Rashmi, former Delhi Commissioner Neeraj Kumar, BSF IG Amit Lodha, Bilal Siddiqui, to name a few. Sir was also an associate producer for Terror in Mumbai, a documentary film along with Dan Reed for HBO, based on the November 26, 2008 Mumbai attacks. This movie was widely acclaimed and won a series of awards. While Class of 83, based on his book, produced by Shah Rukh Khan, is already streaming on Netflix. Dongri to Dubai, being produced by Farhan Akhtar, is soon to be released as series on Amazon Prime Video. Sir, looking forward to the forthcoming series. Then how is Mr. Zaidi as an individual? He's an extremely courteous, approachable person with a great sense of humor. As a family man, he is a loving husband to an equally talented and gifted wife, Miss Veli Tewar, and a proud father to 2 sons. Sir's younger son, Zain, passed out of our school with flying colors in the ICSE board examination. There he is. Thank you, Zain. I would love to go on, but alas, time is a constraint. And so I now invite our principal, ma'am, Dipali Nene, to felicitate Sir and share a few words. Let's hear it.
A very good morning to everyone. Firstly, good morning. Firstly, I would like to thank Mr. S. Hussain Zaidi, acclaimed, accomplished Indian author, on behalf of the management, the staff and the students of Kohinoor International School for accepting our invitation and gracing the International Children's Book Day celebrations today, sir. Usually, thank you. Usually, sir does not make such appearances, but he has been kind enough to make an exception for our school. We are extremely privileged and honored to have you in our midst, sir. Thank you so much, children. This is the loudest they've ever clapped in the history of my 9 years here, let me tell you that. So they're extremely impressed. Thank you. Thank you very much, children. Thank you. Mr. Zaidi is known to regale his audience with his interesting anecdotes, his adventurous exploits, and his unique experiences. So I'm very confident that we shall all go back today awestruck, amazed, inspired, and enriched. Once again, thank you very much, sir, for taking time out of your time.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, it's show time now, children, and I invite Lavina ma'am to take over.
Good morning, sir, and all present here. We at Kohinoor International School have decided to play detectives to unravel the different facets of Zaidi, sir.
Okay.
Sir, with your permission, we would like to have a heart-to-heart conversation.
Please do, ma'am.
So to begin with, how were you as a student?
I was trying to be cryptic. I didn't know whether I should be very honest or I should try to use some very flowery prose to describe myself. Well, honestly speaking, I was a student who was very interested in studies, and I wanted to make a mark and become a scientist, or I want to become a doctor. So I was studying hard to become a scientist at that time. I was very impressed with the personality of Homi Bhabha and such scientists among us. So as a student, I was curious, keen, industrious, learning, hardworking. But somehow, I did not have proper guidance where I can become a scientist. So I used to score good marks in maths and science, but I didn't know how to put to that good marks good use to go for the higher studies and become good in whatever I want to be, like can I become scientist or doctor or whatever.
So I really appreciate your honesty. So do you remember the first story you read and what impact did it have on you?
I think it was a long time ago. I don't exactly remember that story, but I still think that how the moral of the story was very important for us to shape our life. I heard that there was this businessman who was going through a major crisis in life. So I have forgotten certain portions of it, but I still remember some parts which I'll try to put together for you all, and you can understand that what a powerful story that was. So he was going through some business crisis. He was not happy with his wife. His children were giving him trouble, and like there were so many other problems he was facing. So finally he went to a guru and he said that I want to solve my problem and I don't mind spending a lot of money. He said you should ensure that you should see only green. Like we have all kinds of houses here, red, blue, green. He says you should only see green. And if you see green, you will have peace in life and you will do nothing else. You have no problem at all. So I was reading this story. I said, what kind of solution is that? How can a man only see green? And how can a businessman organize that? But the businessman, he had a lot of money. He went back, he ensured that his entire mansion was painted green. He had a green lawn, he had a green car, he had a green flight. He had everything green around him, his office, everything. I keep wondering that why and how, that effort he must have taken to make everything green. He spent something like $10 million in those days to ensure that wherever he turns, he should be seeing only green. Office, house, his car, his transport, his even staff was given green uniform. At the end of the day, he came to his guru and said, Guru, I have spent $10 million to ensure that I only see green and I don't see any other color. But still there is no peace in life. The guru said, okay, I will come to your house and see what I can do for you. So an appointment was set and the guru came to his house, and when guru was walking in his house, seeing everything green, his furniture, his sofa, his chair, his walls, he was smiling and he was looking at his guru that why there is such a mysterious smile. Why is this guru smiling at everything green? Maybe thought, I've been so obedient to my guru and that's why he's smiling. So the guru came in, he said, you misunderstood my message. He said, how? Why? He said, something that can be achieved with a very small effort. You don't have to do this much. You don't have to really spend $10 million and paint everything green so that you can see green. What you should do is, he removed a small glass from his pocket, gave it to this businessman, said, just put it on. Those are green glass with a green shades. So if you wear it, you start seeing everything green around you. He said, you just have to do this. Just wear these glasses and everything around you will look green and there will be no problem for you. You will feel so much at peace. What you have done is something too much, too redundant, too extra, too far overwhelming for yourself, and still you have not achieved the result. But one glasses and you will put on your eyes and you will be okay. Now, it might look hilarious actually, but the moral of the story is that sometimes you have to change your own attitude. Sometimes you have to just change the way you look at the things. As small as changing the glasses. You don't have to reach in the entire thing. Oh, I'll go to America to study. I will not study here. I will not study there. I will not be having this kind of friends. I will not stay in this society. I will not do this. So these are very big, major decisions of life. But once when you change your mindset, the way you look at things, the problem will get solved. The green glasses, the mystery of green glasses. I read it. At age 15, I realized that our perceptions, our mindset, our viewpoint in life is everything. So which is I'm trying to say that even you guys should think that your viewpoint, your perception, your thinking process is something which is going to lead and change and guide your life.
So that was indeed thought-provoking.
Thank you.
So who was your favorite author as a teenager?
Actually, there were many. I used to read in Hindi, I used to read in English, I used to read in a lot of languages. So I would say basically there were 2-3 people whom I liked very much. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was my favorite one. And Sherlock Holmes, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, You all must have read or you all must have seen Benedict Cumberbatch, though he's not Sherlock Holmes. But Conan Doyle was someone whom I read his books and I found that they were highly inspiring, illuminating and full of, thought process. Why? Because he had a teacher, a very enigmatic professor, Dr. Joseph Bell. Joseph Bell was a very, a man who used to analyze everything. That why a person is behaving in this manner, why shoe is having this kind of print, why is he wearing this clothes, why is he sweating, or why is he not sweating. So those analytical thinking was something which inspired Arthur Conan Doyle, and he thought that there should be a detective who should be behaving like Dr. Joseph Bell, and that's how he created Sherlock Holmes. And when I used to read Sherlock Holmes, I used to think, why I can't become as smart and intelligent as this man is. But this man is this man thinks 10 steps ahead. He analyzes everything so well. So if at all you all can think and pick up traits for any intelligent person, so Sherlock Holmes might be a fictitious character, but you still can derive his intelligence, get inspired from his sharp acumen and thinking skills.
At what age did you start writing? Who or what was your inspiration?
There were 2 ages, I think. I can't describe which stage. At one point in time, I was 17 and a half. I started writing, but then I gave up because my parents thought that, writers are a loser's profession. You cannot write and become big in life. So I gave up after 6 months and started focusing on my studies. I still remember I had written some 150 pages of very nice stories set in World War II, where there was a conflict and how there was an Indian hero who thought how we can avoid this World War III. So my story was halfway ready. Say at that time, until point interval, I thought I can do this very nice story, and perhaps Amitabh Bachchan can become hero in this. So in my time, I was thinking Amitabh Bachchan can become hero. Today he's a grandfather, but in those days I was thinking Amitabh Bachchan could be the hero in this. So I gave up after that, and I did not get enough encouragement from my parents. So for say another 12 years, I didn't write anything. But then in 27, when I became a journalist, I got a serious offer for writing a book. And at that time, there was no one to stop me. Then I started writing Black Friday.
Who or what factors were instrumental in your transition from a journalist to a novelist?
Oh, there are too many, but if I'm going to suggest them, I want you all to read those books for 2 reasons. First of all, you should read them for the excellent literary skills. Secondly, the powerful storytelling that these authors will expose you to. And thirdly, you can learn so many things about life when you're reading these books. So I'll start naming them. Jeffrey Archer. Jeffrey Archer's books full of knowledge, gyan, experience, in-depth thinking. Frederick Fawcett. Both of them are British authors. So Jeffrey Archer used to write drama or simple characters, sometimes humor. If you read Not a Penny More, Not a Penny Less, or The Prodigal Daughter, Cain and Abel, The Fourth Estate, you will enjoy reading all those books. Frederick Fawcett is a very different kind of person. He writes thrillers. He writes about espionage. He writes about the characters, quirky characters. But again, his craft, his detail is so comprehensive that you get engaged. For example, first book I read from him was The Day of the Jackal. It's a mind-blowing book. If you start reading it, I'm sure you will not be able to keep the book down. You will be so involved until the last page. So The Day of the Jackal, The Icon, The Fist of God, these are so many books that Frederick Fawcett has written. Then, if there are certain kind of book which you would like to read only because you have fancy for those subjects, then you can read Jack Higgins. Jack Higgins again a British author, and he has written only about the World War type too. Now in this book, for example, my favorite book was The Eagle Has Landed. It's amazing book, amazing thriller. And similarly, you can read more books from Jack Higgins. Other author who has written with equal mastery about Britain, about England, about America, and he became famous because he started writing at a very young age, was Ken Follett. Ken Follett's Eye of the Needle is a masterpiece of a writing. So it is set into the era of Second World War, but he was very young at that time, hardly 25, 26. He started writing his book and it won so many awards. So my point is that you should be reading all kinds of authors for different subjects. Now these all was Britishers. Then I fell in love with Americans. I started reading American books. So David Morrell, David Baldacci, then Irving Wallace. These are the American guys who started writing about America. And I found even these guys were highly interesting. So their plots were macro plots. Now Americans, they are obsessed with their president. So they keep writing about the presidents, American politics, all those kind of things. But what in the end will happen to you is that your language will get polished. You will be able to write better, think better, express better. And if at all you want to write, you can become a better writer.
I'm sure our listeners are very attentively listening to all the insights that you have given them. So shall we go to the next question?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
So do you have any unique or quirky writing habits?
Actually, I was thinking I'll keep my secrets to myself. But then, before coming here, told me that I should reveal everything and it will not get published in newspaper. So that was a bit of an assurance that because it will not go out and get published in newspaper, I can share certain things with you. So as a writer, we all face certain blocks. We realize that we can't write after a certain point. There is certain barrenness in our thinking. We cannot progress, we cannot write. However, the writer who can manage to conquer his writer's block is someone who can get ahead in life and become a much better writer. So the quirky writing habit that she's asking is, with everyone it is different. Other writers who are very big guys like Ruskin Bond, not James Bond's brother. This guy, he can go to Missouri, he can take a house there, can think. Others, go and they watch Bharatanatyam. It kind of helps them in looking at the dancer and then write. But my point is that I am not so intellectual type. I can't go to Missouri, I can't watch Bharatanatyam. So I was thinking that what I can do works for me. So even for you, you might be able to look at different things and can help you in shaping your own thoughts. When I felt that there was a writer's block, I used to go and watch a very mad, hilarious, comical, fun movie of Jackie Chan. So I will go and I will watch Jackie Chan's movies, which might be very stupid movie. It may not have any sense in it. But even if you see a movie like The Accidental Spy, where Jackie Chan is running from a Turkish bath to a Turkish market without any clothes on himself. And it is so funny that you look at it and you will laugh so much that suddenly whatever thoughts or cobwebs were there in your head will come out. So first thing is watch fun, watch comedy, get inspired. The second thing is that since you all are youngsters, why don't you go and play some sport? You can play cricket, you can go swimming, you can do some gymming. And all these things will shoot up endorphins in your system, which will inspire you to go and write. So for me, I was doing these two things. Either to go and work out so much that I was not able to get up from the gym floor, but when I went home, I managed to write a lot. Or Jackie Chan, Dr. Jackie Chan was very helpful. After seeing those movies, I could go and write.
So my next question, which is your comfort zone while writing?
You mean the subject? Which subject I am comfortable writing?
Yeah, sir. Or do you have a special place where you find that comfort to write?
I have a writing table at home, and my problem is that I can think everywhere in my house. I can think on a sofa, I can think in my bedroom, I can think in Zan's bedroom, I can think in my hall room, I can think good while I'm having shower, but I cannot think properly when I'm on my writing room. So my comfort zone is my entire house except the table. So then what I do is that I think at other places, like mostly under shower, and then I go back and I write on my table. So maybe that's the comfort zone that I'm doing.
So what are your biggest challenges in writing a book with real life characters?
So okay, I will explain some technical things to my students here. There are two kinds of writing today, fiction and non-fiction. Writing fiction is very easy. Honestly, everyone can write fiction. Actually, some people can write while sleeping. It is so easy. Because in fiction, you just have to have a plot and a couple of characters in your head. So you can just choose the plot, those characters, you can start writing. And my friend, my mentor, Mr. Vikram Chandra, who's teaching creative writing in US, University of Berkeley, he says that you become so comfortable writing this fiction that even when you're not doing anything, maybe you're waiting for your coffee or sandwich, you can still keep writing in your head about the plot, the next twist, the next turn that will happen in your story. So writing fiction is not such a big thing. What is needed from you is commitment and dedication from your side. So if you are committed and dedicated, then you can become an author in say 6 months' time. The funda is you should be writing 500 words a day with zeal, with devotion, with regularity, and you will have a book in 6 months' time. This was fiction. But my problem, which Lavina ma'am has asked, is about writing non-fiction. Real characters. It is very difficult to think and make real characters do. For example, even in real life, that if you want my very handsome-looking son Hussain Zaidi to do good things in life, that not to watch Eternals, Marvels, and all those things on the TV, I cannot make him do that. So, what you can't do to your son, how can you make him do that character in the book? For example, I want him to be more heroic, I want him to be more forgiving, but he was not heroic and forgiving. For example, he's a gangster. I want him to be a very peace-loving person, believing in ahimsa. How can I make him do that? So the biggest problem that I have in my non-fiction books is to turn the character or make them behave the way I want my story to progress. So what I do is that, when I have a certain story and I want the story should end in a particular manner, then I try to keep focusing on those characters which I can use in a way where they can end the story as I wanted it, not the main protagonist who I know will not yield. So the biggest problem in writing non-fiction with real characters is to think of the climax of the story. Because in every story, the climax is very important. If your climax is good, your story will be very powerful, successful. If your climax is bad, then I don't know whether readers will like you or not. So then in non-fiction, climax is always a problem. Real characters is always a problem. That's why I face struggle every time.
So some authors have a clear outline of their book before they begin, and for some it kind of unfolds. So when you develop characters, do you already know who they are before you begin writing? Or do you let them develop as you do? So we would like to know, how much time do you spend on your research?
See, if it's a non-fiction book, then sometimes I've done research for 4 years or even 7 years. Or for Black Friday, I did research for 4 years. For Dongri Dubai, I worked hard for 7 years. So it depends upon the enormous compass of the book, that how much I have to work, what is the macro subject, and what are the subjects I'm supposed to cover. But suppose a book is not, as micro subjects, a micro subject like Class of 83, where I have to write about few cops. So once when you know those characters and you have done research on them, then at least you start writing. So your first 50 pages, you would have written, say, in first 50 pages, you would have created 3-4 chapters. Now this 3-4 chapters will guide you for further stories if you have decided that you will progress on these lines. As Vikram Chandra says, that when you start writing the book, you are writing the book, but the time comes when the book starts writing you. So that means the book takes you over and it dictates you that what should be the story and how the story should be unfolding.
So really well said. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my next question. So what is your take on our Gen X exploring books from platforms like Project Gutenberg, Open Libraries, Smashwords?
I would say that this generation has got more resources to be smarter, more intelligent, more articulate, and in our generation there were fewer opportunities which will help us in growing or getting ahead in life. This generation is gifted in so many ways. Their education has progressed, they are more exposed to these kind of libraries where they can have a lot of reading material. For us, we were having circulating library, something we used to, I don't know if you are aware, or some teachers will agree with me, that there was a concept called circulating library. So we used to borrow one book, we used to read for 8-10 days, and we used to go back and return it. Today, with all this Library of Congress, Gutenberg and Smash thing, we all can borrow as many books as we want. We can read so many books in a day. Now imagine that if one book reading one book can make you so intelligent. Reading 10 books will make you totally extraordinary. So this generation, as I said, if they want to be a writer or whatever, they need to read a lot, which I'm sure they all are reading more than what my generation was doing. What they need to do is absorb it well and use it properly. Because if you have done it well, read it properly and use it, nothing will stop you in becoming the intellectual man of this era. You will beat all your contemporaries and you can be far ahead of them only if you read well. Don't watch so much of TV. Don't spend time on WhatsApp on those Android phones. Spend time in reading. This will really add value to you, your thinking process, your thought process. And once you think right, you will live right.
So what is it?
Thank you very much. I thought you understood nothing. But at least, better late than never.
Sir, as I told you, we have a group of attentive listeners.
I know, yeah. So it took time from here to reach the end. And finally they absorbed it and then start coming in front.
So what is it like getting feedback from your readers about your book? And do you look at your book reviews?
Yes, I do, of course. So there are people who appreciate your writing, there are people who, heap praise of you, and there are people who are critical of you and they find flaws in you. So my advice, if you want to grow in life, don't look at praises, look at criticism. Because actually criticism is going to make you better, it's going to improve your craft, it's going to turn you into a better professional and a better person. So if you keep on seeing that, oh yeah, well done, good, what a story, fantastic book, you will get very complacent. It will not allow you to grow. But if someone points the errors, the flaws, the drawbacks in your work, he might be not a friend for you, he might be a hostile guy, he might be an adversary, but his pointing out flaws and your drawbacks will actually be doing a service to you. It will ensure that next time you don't commit the same mistakes, next time you don't falter and fail in the same way, and this will only make you better. So what Dale Carnegie said, he said that no one kicks a dead dog and every criticism is a backhanded compliment. So try to focus on these things and always look at those who criticize your work, because you should be more grateful to those people than people who are only praising you and talking very highly about you.
So is there something that you are good at that few people know about, and we would like to know what is it?
Please repeat the question.
Is there something that you are good at that only a few people know about it, and we would love to know what is it?
You're talking about my writing.
So besides that, is there something else that only a few people are aware?
I think there's one personal trait which I try to work hard on that because I'm a writer, and those who want to become writers, they should also focus on this. We realize that whenever there's a tiff with a person or wherever there's a disagreement with someone, we don't tend to talk to this person, we don't go close to them, we try to choose to avoid them, and we think that these guys, we should be away from them for whatever reason. Because there's also perception that जो दुख देता है उसके पास नहीं रहना. But my point is that I don't understand why they say such a thing, because I have this ability to whoever I'm not gelling well with, or whoever I think has hurt me, or whoever does not like me, I can still go close to him, I can still sit close to him, and I can still forgive all those mistakes that he must have committed and get close to him and talk to him like a friend. This ability has helped me in getting more friends, in getting better sources, and even those guys who were harboring some kind of grudge against me in their heart will try to open up. Now I was trying to do it as a friend who is trying to forgive and forget and still try to explore the good side of that person, because even I'm not an infallible person, I might be committing similar mistake, but in the process I realized that these guys who I was trying to get closer to, they have forgiven me in the process and become my friend. So which I realize is very difficult to do. Today, when friends fight, they don't even see each other for years. For years they will not see each other. They will block you on Facebook, they will block you on the phone, they will not see your face, they will change your path. So many things are happening which are very wrong. But if you have the ability to get over this grudge and still be talking and be nice and courteous to someone, it will really make you grow as a human being. And I keep saying, if you are a writer, you should have a very wide mindset and your thought process should be really deep so that you can accommodate all kinds of feelings.
Being an author is not for the faint-hearted. Would you like to share with us an interesting or adventurous feat you have had while researching for any of your novels?
I was kidnapped in Iraq once and I thought I would die. I don't know if you've read the story, you've seen this. Okay. I had been to, I was a reporter in midday newspaper and I was working very hard, so I've done a lot of fantastic page one stories. My editor was very happy with me, so he asked me somewhere around 2002, 2003, when Mr. Hussain Zaidi was still not in this world, so he was not born yet. So my editor asked me what I would like to do. He would like to give me a junket as an incentive for good work. So in those days, junket was given to all the top corporate people. They were given a Swiss chalet as a holiday, or they can go to Singapore, or they were allowed to go to London, and those kind of very dream holidays that everyone look forward to. Even reporters are given that kind of junkets. So my editor asked me where you want to go. Now I am a crazy guy. I mean, Zain's mother will vouch for it. I'm not all normal in my head. I don't think normally. So I said I would like to go to Iraq, the war zone. I have never been to a war zone. I have been a crime journalist all my life, but I have not seen a war zone. I told my editor I would like to go to war zone because Iraq was just taken over by America in those days. My editor looked at me. He said, "Do you want to go to a psychiatrist? I don't think you're normal." I said, "No, I want to go to Iraq." Well, he finally agreed to send me. I went to Iraq and I started doing some good work there. For example, I managed to find out that Saddam Hussein had 26 castles and some of them were made with gold and silver, and he had 6 lookalikes. The man made no public appearance. Only his lookalikes were going out. So if someone kills him, it will not be him, it will be his lookalike. And then so many other stories that I interviewed a bodyguard of his. I had a series of stories on Saddam Hussein. Then I realized that there is a Gurdwara in Iraq. Imagine a Gurdwara in an Islamic country, and this Gurdwara is right in the bang in the middle of the railway network. So instead of trying to demolish the Gurdwara, they made a railway line where one railway line goes south and the other one goes north, but the Gurdwara remains totally unharmed. So I was like totally enthused about this part, and then I wrote a story in Midday about it. So several such stories, but a time came when my stories dried up. I had nothing to write or nothing to report back. So I thought I should find out who was the Dawood Ibrahim of this era, who is the bad guy in Iraq and Baghdad area. So I started asking about the chief of thieves there, the main guy was the big bad underworld guy. So I started asking about him. In Arabic at that time we used to call Harami, the thieves were called Harami, not the Harami of our Bombay, but the Haramis that we say in Arabic at that time for the thief. So I started asking that who is the main Harami. That's how I was pronouncing it. So after a couple of days I realized that some gunmen had come, they showed me gun, pointed gun at me, they said I should come with them right away, and they blindfolded me. In Baghdad, in a daylight, I am getting kidnapped and nobody has any clue that where I've gone, where I've been taken. He drove me to some place, and after I reached a place where I see a lot of gunmen, it's covered with a lot of gunmen people and they all covered it, and I was totally scared. I thought I'll get killed today. Then I saw a guy walking in, tall guy, big hair, no moustache, no beard. Now Iraqis normally have very huge beard and moustache and they have very unruly hair, but this man was totally different in appearance. So after a conversation, they realized that I am not a Pakistani. They thought maybe I am Pakistani, but they realized no, I am Indian. So the man was very happy to see I am an Indian. So he said, "Do you know Amisha Bakkan?" I I thought I know Amisha Patel. I said, I know Amisha Patel. So in 2003, there was a rage for Amisha Patel. I said, no, I know Amisha Patel. He said, what kind of Indian are you? You don't know Amisha Bakkan? See? So you have to understand that Iraqis, they don't have per, they don't have ch. Their language is very different. So for Pepsi, they will not say Pepsi, they will say Bebasi. I am telling you, this is what it is. Because they don't have per. So the Pepsi becomes Bebasi. What do you want? I want one Bebasi. I want two Bebasi. Now we will think Bebasi is different. But, so which is why he was not able to pronounce it rightly, and I kept on thinking, what is Amisha Bakkan? Who is this Amisha Bakkan? So he was very angry, and then he came and showed me a photograph of a film star. And I looked at it, oh, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Now I'll just tell you that because I was surrounded by so many gunmen, and I was in a atmosphere where I thought they are going to shoot me dead and throw me here in the desert. My wife will not even know that how he lost her Sindhu. And I don't think Zain will ever come back to this universe because I'm going to get killed there. So I was just worried. But when I saw Amitabh Bachchan, a very familiar face, I jumped. Oh, Amitabh Bachchan! That was the excitement. I was so crazy about this, seeing his face. So this guy, the Harami, Mr. Harami, he thought that maybe Amitabh Bachchan is my friend. I am trying to say that he is my friend, and he was very happy. I realized he was jumping. I thought, why is he jumping? Is there some kind of ritual that if I jump, he should jump? So then we both settled down. We both sat down, and he said, "Okay, I am now happy with you. I can let you go on one condition. Since you are a friend of Amitabh Bachchan, but I never said I am a friend of Amitabh Bachchan. So since you are a friend of Amisha Bakkan, if you promise that whenever I come to India, you will introduce me to him, then I will let you go." I said, okay. I was ready to, promise anything. Even if you would have said I want to marry your wife, I would have done that. So, Amisha Bakkan was a small thing at that time. So, don't tell you mother. So, I agreed to sign whatever paper he wanted me to sign. I signed it, and then he gave me a very nice feast. I had a very huge, sumptuous meal with him, and then I left. So when I came back, I met Mr. Bachchan at one place. I said, "Sir, you saved my life in Iraq." He said, "मैं तो इराक गया ही नहीं." I said, "No, sir, आपका नाम काफी है." Then he wrote on his Facebook that Hussain Zaidi says, "I saved his life in Iraq without even going there." So it's there in his tweet and Facebook, whatever is written. So that was one very dangerous incident which I thought I should share with my students.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is come from one of our staff members, Neelu ma'am. And the question is, the setting of your books is Mumbai. Would you be exploring other locations as a setting for your upcoming books?
Actually, I was always proud to be a Mumbaiker, and I never liked any city at all but Mumbai. I breathe Mumbai, I eat Mumbai, I sleep Mumbai, I drink Mumbai. I don't think I can write about any city with that much love and intensity as I write about Mumbai or think about Mumbai. Delhi I hate, Kolkata is very difficult, Punjab or South, I know it's a puzzle which I cannot solve. Mumbai is very simple, nice, loving, kind-hearted, generous, affectionate city. I will only write about Mumbai as my city. Sorry.
What message do you want to convey through your genre of writing?
I will come to this question, but I think you should not, students be asking a few questions also. Okay, after this. Okay. So what is the question?
What message do you want to convey through your genre of writing?
You know what, I always want to say that we think that as a human being, we are an ordinary person, but We all think that those Marvel heroes are Superman and those Eternals, those Divergents, and all those DC comic books are superheroes. But I think that actually you all are superheroes. You are the most powerful. Imagine that what a complex creature you guys are. I mean, there are so many stories. A man can finish off a mountain because his pregnant wife cannot reach home in the hospital. That's a true story. A man can create a light bulb because he was not having enough light to read. A man can fly just because he dreamt that he has to fly. Imagine what all we can do. I've always, told my friends when I've seen them depressed, विश्वास तेरी शक्ति है, संघर्ष तेरी भक्ति है, तेरा कर्म ही तेरी विजय है. So if you have to do anything in life, the first thing begins with your own self-confidence, in your own faith in yourself that you can do this. And then Sangharsh. For example, you have to struggle. Don't think that it will descend on you from the sky. You have to struggle for it. You have to work hard for it. Napoleon Hill worked for 20 years to write a book called The Laws of Success. Just go through that book. It's a fantastic, inspirational book for you youngsters, that how a simple idea can be converted into success. So read that book. My whole point is that you guys should believe in yourself. You should never get depressed. You should never get disheartened. I read one poetry that, do you think that you are a small germ? You are not a small germ. Wafiqan tawa alam akbar. In you is hidden a huge universe. We are having a universe hidden beneath us, inside us. The only thing is we need to discover this, we need to find this, and we need to think and believe in. That's how we can progress. So my message to all of you is that be happy, be strong, be confident, and believe in yourself. And the most important word that I like to say is, think that you are invincible. Invincible. Invincible.
So that was indeed inspiring. What would you advise to the young audience, especially to the ones who would be first-time writers?
See, sometimes people think that writing is a very enormous task, it's very difficult, and how can we write huge books? Only very intelligent people can do this. But my point is that for writing, you don't have to be very intelligent. You have to be committed and dedicated. And any big mountain can be climbed with your first step. Any major journey can be commenced with the first initiative. Excuse me?
Students, can I have silence?
And those who want to write, Vikram gave me one very nice advice. He said that we should always try to not think look at the huge magnitude of the task, that the task is too big. You should, on a daily basis, write 200, 300 words with regularity. So he called this concept bird by bird. So that is a father who gave a homework to his son. That, son, are you very bored? Look outside the window, count how many birds are there. So the child looked at the bird and he found that there are too many birds. And he will never be able to count them. He said, don't count all of them together. Start bird by bird. So 1, 2, 3, 4, this way. So when you are writing a book, start page by page. And only focus on that particular page on that day, and you will see in 6 months' time you have a book ready in your hand, and all of you can become a writer.
So it has been such a pleasure sharing the same space and conversing with you. Thanks for sharing your insights with us and helping us understand what makes some writers truly remarkable.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would request Rinda ma'am to take over.
Thank you, Lavina ma'am. Thank you, sir. That was indeed a great heart-to-heart conversation. And I'm sure your words of wisdom have enriched us and empowered us, and nothing can stop us from starting to pen down a book. Thank you very much, sir. KIS. We at Kohinoor International School is proud of our young and budding writers. It is most befitting that they are felicitated today by none other than Zaidi sir himself. As a token of love, our writers will present to sir their published work. So I start calling upon Aryan Sabbath from grade 9A. He has written 3 books and has published by Darshan Publications. His first book is named Always Play the Game of Life to Win, which was published at the age of 10. This book encompasses topics like how to learn and earn, how to change your mindset, how to be a winner, and many more. The second book, namely Life Master, published at the age of 12. And this book covers topics like goal setting, how to recover from failure, and achieve mastery. The third book, namely Ultimate Secret of Successful Life, focuses on changing one's thoughts process, growing one's income, and understanding the true meaning of success. Well, that's not all. Aryan Sabbath has won 22 more awards. He has 100,000 followers on Facebook. He owns a corporate office in Mumbai and has more than 2 international records and is regarded as the youngest life coach. So let's hear it for Aryan Sabbath. Let's clap as Zaidi sir felicitates Aryan. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Aryan. I now invite Darshan Venkateshwaram from grade 9B. He has published the works, namely Traveler's Diary by Impish Las at the age of 11, Color My World Green by Impish Las again, The Tales of Potterhead by the Writers Abode publication at the age of 13. Darsh discovered the Young Bard Award from the Impish Las publication for the book Traveler's Diary. He was the youngest writer to write for the book Color My World Green. So let's put our hand together for Darshan Venkateshwaram. Thank you, Darsh. Thank you, sir. I now call upon Aditi Yadav from grade 9B. She has her work being published in the book entitled The Tales of Potterhead when she was at the age of 12. The poem she wrote creates a visual scene of the last few moments of Harry Potter's elf friend Dobby. For Advita, Harry Potter and the summer vacation that we all enjoy was the best combination that inspired her to write. So let's give a round of applause to Advita. We are yet to procure her book, sir, so we'll hand it over to you once we receive it. Thank you. We now call upon Faizan Faruqi from grade 10D. He has been writing since the age of 7. He has published his story titled Oscar the Fisher Cat in the book Ahoy, 18 Stories Aboard, which was published at the age of 12 by Scholastic Quill Club writers and imprint of Scholastic India. So let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. I request Lavina ma'am to take over.
Students, I know you are really very enthusiastic and inspired by the presence of Sir, and you have a lot of questions in your mind. And even Sir is eagerly waiting to answer all those questions. But, we are really hard pressed on time, and we have time only for 2 questions. So is there anyone who would like to ask something?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, my name is Drumil. I wanted to ask, what was the turning point of your life? What turned you to become a writer? Like you said that you wanted to become a scientist or a doctor. What turned you into becoming a writer?
Oh, it's a long story. I'll try to be brief about it. I didn't get admission for BSc. I ended up being a commerce graduate. And after being a commerce graduate, I started looking for a job, and I was not getting a job. So I applied for the reporter's job in Indian Express. Now in Indian Express, I wanted to at least cover science as a beat, education as a reporting thing. And I said I would like to be a reporter, but covering science and education. The man looked at me from top to bottom, as if I had just come from the zoo. He said, I have only one vacancy, that is for crime journalist. If you are interested, take the vacancy, or that is the door. I was desperate for the job, so whatever he was offering, I accepted the job of crime journalist. So in 1995, 16th October, this accident, turned me, a science aficionado into a crime journalist. That was a turning point.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, students, and thank you, sir. I now hand over the mic to Rita ma'am.
Said only one question, there was one more you said.
So the other questions were just repetitive.
Okay. I can have one more question, is there time?
So you have answered most of the questions.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, what was your best time for writing books?
Wow. I like this question. But don't follow the timing, it is not a good one. I write only in the night after 1:36 a.m. I feel very productive, creative, and I can write until 4 a.m. for 2.5 hours. So that's the time when everything is quiet, everyone has slept, there are no phone calls happening, and no friends coming home, no other disturbance. So between 1:36 a.m. to 4:12 a.m., I can write with absolute focus and concentration.
So for Sir, it is 1:36, and for us, it could be any time that we are comfortable with, right?
Right, ma'am. Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, students, and thank you, sir. I stand on behalf of Kohinoor International School and grateful to you, Zaidi sir. A big thank you for making it here after understanding that your busy schedule. This great day will surely be etched in our memories. We wish you even greater success in all your future literary endeavors and surely looking forward to having many more interactions with you, sir. So let's hear it for sir. Thank you, dear children, for being a receptive audience. Thank you, sir, and have a nice day.